All righty, everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Zalecki, and I'm excited to spend a couple minutes with you guys tonight. And the training that I'm excited to connect with you guys about today is we are going to talk about accountability. And accountability is kind of something that either somebody loves or they don't love at all. And I was one of the people that didn't love it. I remember when I first got involved in network marketing. I mean, the reason I got involved in network marketing is I didn't want a boss. And I was like, you know what? I was tired of somebody micromanage me and telling me when I could go to the bathroom, when I couldn't, when I could take a break, when I could go on vacation, when I could eat, when I could do anything, right? And so then all of a sudden I get involved in network marketing and I'm like, this is awesome. And then I realized like, holy crap, this might not be a great thing for me because I had no accountability at all. And quite frankly, I didn't want any accountability until I realized, oh my goodness, this is so important and so vital to our business. And over the next couple of minutes, I want to share with you guys some hacks that really helped me when it came to accountability. Really, I'm going to talk about like how the heck I tricked myself into falling in love with it. I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to talk to you guys just about some stuff that I just found really helped me in this whole arena. And I know that accountability is definitely like not a sexy topic to talk about in our profession. Like nobody says, "Oh my God, let's talk about accountability." No, nobody wants to talk about that, right? But I want to talk about it because I just feel that for some of us, it's a lot easier to hide out. But also hiding out in our business is gosh, it really is almost close to like the number one reason that people fail is that it's easy for us to trick ourselves that we're really doing the business when we're really not, right? And I remember too, like when I first got started, I remember telling myself, right? I told myself, I'm like, oh Sarah, like you can be accountable to yourself, right? Like I've got it. I'll be able to, see what I do and watch all that. But how many of us realize like it's easy to tell ourselves like just a ton of lies, right? Why we're not doing something. It's easy for us to justify. It's easy for us to say like why we didn't do whatever it is, right? And I just found myself kind of just like going around and round and round, right? And so I'm going to share my screen. I actually have some slides. I just put together some simple ones I want to share with you guys tonight and talk to you about accountability. Okay. So give me a quick second here as I share my screen. And I want to, I think what's really important, guys, for us to realize in this business is that, you know, it's so important to have accountability systems in your business for success. Like it's super, super important, right? I mean, I look at, every day, like as I'm building my business, like, there were things that were happening to me that were stopping me from achieving my goals because of accountability. And I know for a lot of us, we have all these things that we want to achieve, but if we don't find a way to track it, if we don't find a way to kind of hold our feet to the fire, it's so easy to kind of just say, whatever, right? It just really is. And, if you think about like systems for, not just systems for success, but like any type of accountability systems, like guys, like our whole life, like if you really broke it down, like from when you were a kid to when you went through middle school and junior high to when you went to high school to when you went to college to when you got a job and you worked in like in a career, like every single part of that has accountability systems, right? So why would being in your own business be any different, right? I think about like when I was going to school, right? When we all went to grade school, right? We had accountability of like, hey, we needed to work hard and study and we needed to take a test. And if we didn't pass the test, right, what happened? Well, we failed, right? And so, it's like I look at even like our job, like how many times like if we didn't do the things we were supposed to do in our job, how long would that last before we were fired? Yet here in this business, we think, oh my gosh, like it's so easy that we go 3 days without prospecting. We go 2 days without doing follow up. We go through a whole week and not necessarily do our daily method of operation, right? And what happens to us? Nothing, because we're like we run our own show, right? So we don't really have a lot of times we don't have these accountability systems in place that help us like get the job done to get big results, right? Well, guess what? That's all going to change tonight. We're going to jam through some stuff together. So I want to talk to you guys really about 4 tricks to accountability. Okay. And these are 4 things that Tony and I, that we learned that it really helped me a ton when it came to just accountability. You know what I mean? Like I just really learned how to fall in love with it. And, I think that, all of us, I think goals are really important for our business. And I think sometimes we tell ourselves like, hey, I'm going to try to shoot for this or shoot for this rank, when the reality is like, you need to write it down. Like if you don't write it down, it might as well like not be real, right? I think about, if you were a traditional business owner, you would have a business plan, right? You would have, like I tell people like all the time, it's like it's writing it down, creating the priorities for it. So first thing I would tell is you got to write it down. Okay. Number 2 is you got to proclaim it, meaning you got to tell people like what you're going to do. A lot of times people go, oh, I'm just going to kind of be quiet and not tell anyone what I'm doing. Well, why? When you do that, that just means you're hiding out. That means like, hey, well, like I still love to this day, like I do accountability every single month in my business with different people. Why? Because I know that it's like, you know what, Sarah, like if you're going to say it, you got to follow through, you got to do it, and you got to nail it. Right. And so I think sometimes with us is that, we have these goals or we have these things that we're going to work towards, but we don't proclaim it, meaning we don't make it public, meaning we don't really say much about it. Because if we don't happen to hit, or if we don't do the legwork or the work to make, to get it done, it doesn't really matter because no one's going to really know. Right. Well, that's actually doing yourself a huge disservice by not saying, this is what I'm going to do, right? Whether it be whatever type of goal, whether it be business, whether it be spiritual, emotional, physical, like whatever it is, right? The days of you having to be quiet, right? Like people all the time say, well, I'm going to be like the silent storm. I'm like, I get that. But guess what? Like, I just realized for us, and I know Tony's the same way. He's like, if I don't tell someone, hey, this is what I'm going to do, he goes, it's so easy to cop out and hide out. I mean, it just really is. So number 2, proclaim it. Number 3, create rewards. Okay. Rewards are really fun. So what are the rewards that you are going to set for yourself with, maybe it's weekly activities that you're doing for your business every single week, right? Maybe it's a monthly reward for yourself. And it doesn't have to be something that's like costs a lot of money. It could be something that, you know, it could be something that you wanted to do and you've never done it before, right? It could be something fun. It could be something, I love dangling a carrot, for me every single week, right? I also love monthly stuff. Maybe you've got a big day and you've got a lot of things that you want to kind of like achieve. Well, you could do a daily one too, right? So not only do I create rewards for myself, I do also create them with my family as well. So for those of you that do have kids, or you have a spouse, or you have a partner, like create a reward system for you together, right? And have them buy in on it. So for example, if you're married, like the best way to get your spouse to buy in on your business, guys, is to get them in on the reward. So it's like, hey, honey, I'm going after this, goal this week. Like when I hit it, what should we do together? What would you love to do that you haven't done in a while that we could do? That'd be awesome, right? Or what do you want to do for a monthly thing or a quarterly thing or a yearly thing, right? And it's the same thing with your kids. For those of you that have kids, right? Like I love doing things with my kids because my kids are so bought in to what we're doing, right? It's so important because I know that in our business, there are going to be days that we are on more Zooms than other days. I do know that some days I've got more 3-way calls and 3-way chats happening. I know on some days I've just got some extra work to do. And if they know what the reward is on the other side of me doing that, guess what? They're gonna be like, hey, mom, like you got to go work. You got to go do your thing. You got to go do it. Right. So I love creating rewards. I do it for myself individually. I do it weekly. I do it monthly. I do it with Tony. I do it with my kids. Right. So you got to figure out like what rewards are you doing for you? You've got to make sure you do that. It's so important. Then the 4th thing you got to do for tricks for accountability is you also got to create penalties. Okay. Because here is one thing that I know is that the penalties are sometimes even better than the rewards. Okay. It's a little bit of like pain. Like, what is something that I don't know? It's got the reason I love penalties, guys, is it's got some teeth in it. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's a little bit like if you don't hit those activities for the week, if you don't hit your goal, whatever it may be, right? It gives you some teeth where you're like, that hurt, right? It's kind of like, oh, I got to make sure that I do it next time. So figure out what is something that the thing that I think that's hard is that a lot of times we kind of already give ourselves stuff that we love all the time, right? So maybe think about what are some things that you love that you need to take away from yourself if you don't do X, right? What is that? So it's got to have some teeth that's a little bit painful, right, for you. So, I tell people like, what is something that's maybe sacred to you or like unthinkable for you that if you took it away, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's got to be your penalty. Okay. That's got to be your penalty. It's super important to have some type of penalty. Because I tell people you're gonna move a lot more if you've got something that is a little bit painful than it's just like than just the reward itself, right? So 4 tricks that we follow all the time, every day, for accountability. Here's a really cool quote that I love. I actually have it written down. And I love it. It says, "It is not only what we do, but also what we do not do for which we are accountable." Right. So I think a lot of people always say they're focusing on, hey, these are all the things that I did do. But I'm like, hey, what about the list of stuff that we didn't do that we were supposed to? Right. And I'm not talking like a to do list. I'm talking about the things that move your business forward every single day. Right. Because let's face it, we all have a to do list. I have a to do list in a to do list in a to do list. I don't know if you guys are guilty of that as well. I'm totally guilty. But I'm talking about like the things that we need to be focusing on that get us results in our business every single day. So let's talk about accountability partner. Big, big thing. Okay. This is so big. I would probably say 90% of people in network marketing do not have an accountability partner. And I don't know why. Okay. You really, really need to have one. If you don't, let me give you guys some guidelines to what makes an awesome accountability partner, because there are accountability partners that are not good. Okay. They are not good. Number one, okay, your accountability partner needs to be as committed as you. If they are not an accountability partner. Okay. Number two, they need to have similar goals as you, right? They need to have similar goals as you. Number three, they have to have a positive mindset. You cannot have accountability partner that's a Debbie Downer, okay? Because what happens? They're going to pull you down. It's going to be all of a sudden you're going to be wallowing. All of a sudden you're going to be like, I always tell people like misery loves company, right? You do not want to be commiserating with these guys, okay? We don't got time for that, right? We got goals we got to hit. We got accountability we got to do. So you have to make sure that they have a positive mindset, okay? Number four, you need to have accountability partner that's going to push you. Okay. You got to have someone that's an accountability partner, meaning it can be someone that's nice, but they can't be too nice. Meaning, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, right, they've got to be, and you give them some type of excuse or why you didn't do something or whatever it is, right? You don't want an accountability partner that's going to be like, oh, I understand, okay, no big deal, blah, blah. No, you need to be like, okay, I realize that happened. So we got to keep moving forward, right? Like we got to keep doing this. Like we got to jump back on the horse. We got to get back on the path. Like we got to keep going, right? So you got to make sure you have someone that's just not going to be like, when you decide to go down like, self pity lane, right? Or pity party, like they're not going to be the one that jumps in that pity party with you, right? That's not a good accountability partner for you. Okay. The last one, oh, a couple of things. It can be anyone, right? So it doesn't have to be like your sponsor, your upline. Like it could be someone crossline. It could be, right? I tell people like just find someone that just wants to like jam with you and is just gonna like they're gonna do the deal. Okay, they're gonna do the deal with you like day in and day out and day in and day out, right? And then the last one is just someone that's gonna stay connected. Okay, not someone that's gonna be hit or miss. Someone that's gonna really stay connected. You obviously I tell people you got to figure out what that's going to look like for you, right? I tell people all the time like you know my accountability has gone through different phases over the years. I've had accountability partners that like every night I check in and I tell them like with my like daily method of operation, I just leave them a voice memo and I'm like, this is how many people I talked to, this is how many people said yes, This is how many no-shows I got. This is how many links I sent out. This is how many people I added to the Facebook group, right? And then I'm like, hey, have a great night, right? I'm not on there like having like some big conversation with them. I'm on there just to report. Like I'm here, I'm like, here's my report. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. And that's it. Right. I've done daily stuff where I felt like I've needed to do daily to get in a rhythm and get consistent. And then there's been times I've had an accountability partner that will check in once a week, but our check-in isn't for like small talk. It's not like, hey Susie, so what's happening? How's the weather? How's the kid? What's happening? No, 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 no. Like my accountability check-in is a 5-minute Zoom. We jump on a Zoom. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Okay, great. Let's talk about how did our week go? This is what happened. This is where I'm at. This is how I'm moving forward, or hey, this is where I'm stuck. And hey, let's talk about it for a second. Okay, great. I get some good tips, and then we just keep jamming. I'm like, okay, have a great day, right? So I think you just got to figure out like what kind of accountability do you want to do, but to get in the rhythm of it to stay consistent, right? So got to find an accountability partner. Super, super important. Let's talk about. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how to work a game plan. I think it's a part of accountability, big time, because you got to be able to track your stuff, right? Accountability has a lot to do with tracking. You're tracking, you're tracking, all kinds of different things, right? So first thing you guys got to do is you got to decide like what rank do you want to hit in a month, right? Whatever that is. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you guys, there's going to be months that you don't hit that rank. It's okay. You still just have to have a goal, right? I tell people like I set a goal of what I want to do, but I don't necessarily always hit it, but I'm taking the actions every day to get there. Does that make sense? So I'm still doing accountability. Like you don't stink. I don't stink if I don't hit a goal, but you got to get in the rhythm of your business. You got to get in the rhythm of accountability. You got to get in the rhythm of working your 4-week game plan. Like I'm talking like militant. Like it's for me, it's so ingrained. I do this like clockwork. It's just who I am. It's how I'm wired. It's in every cell of my body as I work my day every day. But you got to decide what rank you want to be. Okay. Whether you hit it or not, you got to decide. Okay. And some of us, we might have to, there's times, guys, that I had to decide on a rank for 1 year. Every single month, I had to focus on the same rank. Okay. It doesn't matter about that. Just decide. Okay. And then from that, you just got to work that. You got to work towards that goal. And again, this is your business, right? This is your business. So you have to track. You got to track every 7 days where you are. Okay. So I tell people like work the 7th and then the 15th and the 21st and the 28th, right? So it's like every day or every 7 days, you can track and see exactly where you're at, right? So from there, tracking is going to allow you to see how you're doing and what you need to tweak, right? So, if your goal is a certain rank and like how many points, how much volume you need to have, just break that up, right? So by the 15th of each month, you need to be halfway there, right? And on the 7th of the month, you need to be a quarter there, right? 15th, halfway, the 21st, do you know what I mean? Like 3/4 and so forth, right? So some of the questions you need to ask yourself for sure. Oh my goodness, take a screenshot of this if you don't have it. Okay, you've got to track it. Every single week you have to ask yourself these questions, okay? And I actually do this every day, you guys. Like every day I ask myself, and this is actually part of accountability. If you want to start with your accountability partner and do these things in there, and each day you guys leave a voice memo, like do a voice memo with these things, right? So how many people have I started a conversation with today, right? It could be today, it could be this week, right? How many reach outs have I done today? How many people have I shared the product with today, right? How many people have I ATM'd in the Facebook groups today? How many follow ups have I done today, right? How many 3-way chats have I started today, right? So all of these things, if you track this, guess what? You're going to know where you're at all the time, right? So many people I see in our business, they get so frustrated and they're like, my business is not working and I can't figure this out. And that's when I go back and I go, all right, let's talk about these questions. And I go through each one of these, and it is so easy to see where they slip through the cracks in their business and also to really see what their numbers are, right? So these questions are great for a week. But personally, for me, I work my business day by day by day by day. I'm a mom, right? A lot of you guys are moms, your parents, I know you're busy. Okay. So I work my business day after day after day. I do one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, right? Yes, I've got a monthly goal. Yes, I've got a yearly goal. But at the same time, I just do everything in bite sized chunks every single day. And it helps me so much with accountability. Okay. So let's talk about how your 4 weeks need to look. Okay. So this is how Sarah Zalecki runs her month every single month for 20 years plus. Easy. Okay. First week of the month is where all the heavy lifting needs to be done in your business. Okay. So on this slide, you guys see a funnel. Okay. Those little kind of golden drops are honey. The honey represents the people you are dumping into your funnel, right? So every single month, guys, your first week, it needs to be heavy, heavy, heavy prospecting. Meaning, like, that's where you need to load it up. That's where you need to be sending out a ton of links. That's where you need to be getting people on opportunity Zooms. Because here is what I know, and all of you have experienced this. Majority of people, when they take a look at our business or any business in network marketing, they do not sign up on the spot. Okay. They just don't. Majority of people need to see a second exposure, a third exposure, a fourth exposure, whether they want more information on product, whether they want more information on system, whether they want more information on leadership, whether they want more information on support, they want to know, understand a little bit more how they get paid, right? So that first week is when you need to have you need to pile all that in, because guess what? It's going to, the most of those people, they're typically going to roll in your business more towards the end of the month, right? So if we all have a goal that we want to hit each month, if we're not loading up that funnel, what's going to happen that second and third and fourth week? We're not going to have a lot of people to talk to, right? And if we don't have a lot of people to talk to and follow up with, guess what? Our business is not going to be growing. We're not going to be enrolling people in our business, right? Which we definitely don't want to have happen. So first week of every month, I am piling people in like crazy, because I know that's just the beginning process of what I call the prospecting process, really. Okay. So the 15th of the month, okay, that the next 2 weeks, I'm talking radical follow-up. You're doing massive follow-up with people, getting questions answered, getting them in three-way chats, finding out if, where they're at, what more information do they need, right? You're being that tour guide, you're guiding and guiding and guiding them, right? So basically I tell people, like, you're going to guide them along in the process till they come to the point of logical conclusion that either A, I want to be a customer, or B, I want to be a social marketer, right? So really simple with the follow-up piece. And then typically, guys, the last week is where we have tons of enrollments. Okay, that's where you've got tons of enrollments, you've got things moving along, right? And the reason that this is important, guys, because then why I love this process is I'm always going into the next month fresh. I've got the people that are sitting on the fence off the fence. I've got people that, haven't made a decision. They make a decision, right? I've got people, how many of you guys agree? Like, there's nothing worse than a maybe. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. We all get these maybes and it drives us crazy. Clear those maybes off the fence, right? So, I love going into my next month fresh, hot, start helping people. These guys create stories, pumping my funnel up, giving me 2 to 3 weeks of follow up, getting them enrolled, and I repeat the process, right? So I love this because I have such a rhythm of my business that I don't feel like I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm not running around trying to hit my goal. I'm not running around like frantic and not having fun with my business, right? Like, when I started implementing the 4 week game plan that I put together years ago, oh my gosh, you guys, like, my business was fun. It was effortless. I knew what I needed to be doing, right? I knew where I was in my month, right? I knew where I was on the 7th and on the 15th and on the right. I tracked all that continuously, no matter how small my team was in the beginning, right? Which was really small. It was really little. But I learned the principles of the 4 week game plan and the accountability stuff and this, right? The one, each week. And oh my gosh, my business just flourished because it was just who I was. Like, all this stuff that I'm teaching, it is exactly who I was and how I build every single day. So I want to walk you guys through 8 ways to stay accountable. And then I want to give you guys a couple assignments. Okay. So number one, you've got to make sure that you guys are brutally honest with yourself with where you're at with accountability right now, right? One of my things that I wrote down in my notes is I said, you got to figure out where you can improve your focus, right? So figure out where can I improve my focus? What do I need to be doing better, right? To move my business forward every single day. Okay. Number two, you got to commit to a schedule. So you got to figure out what's your schedule going to look like. Okay. Accountability is important. Is your schedule going to be, 4 to 5 every single day? Is it going to be 2 to 4? Is it going to be 6 to 8? Are you working your business 3 days a week? Right. I know that a lot of us, we're kind of juggling a lot of things. You got to figure out like, what's my time that I'm going to prioritize my mode air, right? You got to figure that out. You got to figure out how am I going to actually do that, right? Number three, you've got to create micro goals, right? So I tell people like you've got to have like a little segment of your big goal, like little segments of that, right? So I think for myself, a lot of my micro goals are actually just my daily accountability and really like my daily method of operation. That's really my micro goals, really, truly each day is that. Number four, you got to have accountability partner, right? We talked about that. What's gonna help you guys when you do stay accountable is that you're gonna end this kind of like sabotage that a lot of us have in our business. I experience this big time, because if you don't do the accountability piece, it's again, like I talked about in the beginning, it's so easy to hide out, which means you're sabotaging your business. It's so easy to start blaming something or getting distracted or saying why you're not doing something, right? All that stuff is self sabotage. All of it is, right? None of that is moving your business forward. None of that is doing it's not serving you at all, right? So when you do start saying accountable, oh my gosh, guys, you know what's going to happen? Your sabotage like is going to go out the window, which for some of you guys, you're like, oh my gosh, this needs to happen like yesterday. I get it. I've been there. I've been there. I was a queen of self sabotage. Believe me, I would take 3 steps forward and 5 steps back for a long time, many, many years in my business. Number 6, know your why. Okay. So crystal clear, know your motivation, what keeps you up at night, why are you fired up, right? You got to have that in front of you all the time. And number 7, you got to celebrate your wins, right? I love doing that. It helps me stay accountable. I celebrate a win every day. Find a way to I tell people, find a way to celebrate. I don't care what, celebrate something. I'm like, I love celebrating. I celebrate, 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 no matter how small and how silly it might seem. Celebrating's big. Don't get in the habit of only celebrating a big goal, right? That's not that great. You got to celebrate just whatever. I don't care what it is in the beginning. You got to celebrate it because it's going to help build your confidence, which is going to give you better posture, which when you have better posture, you're going to talk to more people, which is going to create a bigger buzz, which means more people are going to sign up, which means you're going to get a bigger check, which means you're going to get more excitement, which means you're going to keep talking to people, right? So you got to make sure those little wins that you have, you've got to make sure you celebrate them. They are a huge part of creating your success cycle in your business. Okay. Then the last thing you want to do is you got to do plan, do, review. I know a lot of you guys know this already. So you got to make a plan, right? Figure out your goal. You got to do it. If you don't hit it, then you got to review it and see like, hey, what did I learn from it? What am I learning from this? How can I do better? How can I, what are other ways I need to work on pushing through? Right. And then you just do plan to review over and over and over again. So the last thing I want to give you guys a couple assignments. Number 1, take an action today towards your goal, something. Okay. Number 2, you got to find accountability partner. Again, if you don't have one, you got to find it, reach out, connect with somebody, connect in your group chats, find somebody that you can be accountable with, but make sure, remember all those lists of things that you're looking for an accountability partner. You got to make sure they got all that. If they only got 2 out of the rest of them, that's not a good account. Like you got to find somebody that's going to do all of it for, with you. Right. So I hope you guys got some great value out of tonight. I want to encourage you, fall in love with accountability. I promise you, it's a hidden gem inside of our business. And oh my gosh, it can absolutely change the results that you have in your business as well. So take care, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.